this is William Tapscott. I'm with Taylorsville Crime Watch. Today I'm here with Jim Lienhoop, the Mayor of Columbus, Indiana. Jim is here to discuss the Riverfront project.
Okay, good morning, William. Thank you for the opportunity to talk about the riverfront. When we're talking about the riverfront, basically we sometimes call it the land between the bridges. And what we've got there are a couple of problems. And they're not, today problems. I mean, really something that has to, be addressed immediately. But long term, these are serious issues for our community. One is a low-head dam that is failing. And the second is the presence of a landfill on the south side or west side of the river that is threatened to be uncovered. The notion is that we need to try to address both of those and do so at a time when we've got the funds to do it and when we've got some kind of an opportunity to work with the Indiana Department of Natural Resources. When we get in the water, it's kind of a little bit of a governmental agency soup. I mean, in terms of all the agencies that we have to work with. We have the Indiana Department of Natural Resources, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, the Army Corps of Engineers, the Indiana Department of Environmental Management. What we're trying to do is take out the dam, sort of rectify the problem the problems that it brings. For reasons that we don't understand, the dam is not square to the river. It's sort of at a cockeyed angle a little bit. And the dam is not flat across the top. And so those two factors cause it to scour a little bit on the south or west side of the river. And it's that scour that threatens to uncover a landfill. For reasons that we don't understand, back during World War II, the city of Columbus had its landfill right there underneath the Stewart Bridge on the south side of the river. Not a real great place to put a landfill, and it's certainly something that we don't want to see eroded away, or at least the cover of it eroded away. The second thing that comes to mind with respect to this dam is that these low-head dams are fairly dangerous. Here in our community we've had 3 drownings here within the last couple of years associated with our rivers. And 2 of them, I think were directly related to the presence of that dam, or a low-head dam, I should say. And so part of what we want to try to do is to just make the place a little bit safer. While we're down there, sort of messing around in the water, if you will, one of the notions that we've come up with is it would be helpful to try to connect the people trails that sort of come to this area. We have I got about 25 to 30 miles worth of bicycle and pedestrian pathways, through Columbus that we call people trails, and they've proven to be pretty popular among the folks who live here. You'll see a lot of activity with respect to bicycles and people just walking or jogging. And as they come down to the central business area, and particularly this area, land between the bridges kind of thing, there's no place to separate from vehicular traffic. And so part of what we're trying to do is to snake a people trail down in through there along the river, between the river and what we call the pump house, and allow us to separate the grade between bicycles and pedestrians and semis. Keep those two apart so that we've got a little bit safer transition through that area. The grade, or the people trail that we envision, we would build at about 608 feet above sea level. And the relevance of that number is pretty particular, but the relevance of that number is that's the average height of the people trail as it goes through Millrace Park. Some folks have commented that, well, you're going to build this trail and it's going to flood. Well, yeah, that's true. It'll flood the same way that Millrace Park does. So either the whole thing shuts down or the whole thing's available for use. But we feel like it would be, sort of silly to make one taller or shorter because it's going to be tied into what you see down there in Millrace Park. So the whole notion here with respect to the riverfront is to try to correct a safety problem that we have with respect to the dam, try to correct the erosion, or at least mitigate the erosion that's occurring that might uncover a landfill that exists under the Stewart Bridge. We'll probably also try to, it's called stream bank armament, or provide some reinforcements on both sides of the river to the bank there to further limit erosion, and get the people trail in through there. And if we get a chance, we'll also put in what we call in-river enhancements. And sometimes people have referred to that as a kayak course. And yeah, it could probably be used for that. But part of what we're trying to do there by constricting the flow in the middle of the river is 2 things. Number one is to return the river channel to the middle of the river. And then secondly, to try to preserve the water that we have upstream at Millrace Park. the engineers tell me that there at the dam we've got about 4 feet of fall. And so if we take the dam out, and that's all we do, then you think what happens upstream at Mill Race Park. You're going to have 4 feet less water, and so it's going to go down 4 feet, but it'll also come in. And it'll come in a lot more than 4 feet because of the way the banks on the riverside work. And so part of what we're trying to do is to, with these in-river improvements, is to channel the water down towards the middle and preserve a little bit of what we've got in terms of the water level back up at Mill Race Park. The engineers tell me that we probably can't put back the whole 4 feet of impoundment, water impoundment that we have today, but we can probably get back 3 feet of that, or maybe 3.5, depends on the water flow. But that's the whole notion behind the riverfront. A lot of people think of it, or look at it, and all they think of is a kayak course, but there's much more to it, and that's really not what's driving the project. Nonetheless, if you get a chance to visit some other communities, and take a look at what they've been able to do with their rivers, you find that it's really popular. There are a lot of people who just like to go down there, stroll around, and enjoy, being that close to nature. And right now, you really can't get to it. Even in Mill Race Park, it's a little bit difficult to sometimes just access the water there. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of background on what we're trying to do with the riverfront. Appreciate the opportunity to talk today. William, thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you.